into the draft.
Dragonshire.
Okay, so this is going to be Gorge Good Alt with first ban and first pick here. So let's see what they want to do with that. And before I forget, let's get the betting underway again here. So that we've got a little bit more time for people to get their bets in.
Seen Varian banned, first of all. Again, as we said in the previous game, gets a very big power spike at level 10, but up until that point he is noticeably weaker than a lot of other heroes in the game.
Yeah,
They're
absolutely.
looking to perhaps more evenly built comp this time round.
Perhaps so. Tastar, obviously they don't want to deal with that one again. We do see Mouth coming through as the very first pick once again for Gorge Good Alt this time instead of No Trick Ponies. So obviously both teams placing a very high focus on him as the sort of premier healer. Yeah, No Trick Ponies have their full roster today. Calcera, just so you know. And you know, they're showing it. They did very well in that first game, so it'd be interesting to see if they can keep that up. I, for one, would love to see Gorge Good Alt at least take the next game so that we can get a game 3. But that's me being selfish, because these are some fantastic teams. So we've got the Tychus and Dahaka. Now, obviously, Dahaka was banned on last map, and No Trick Ponies also picked up the Tychus in the last draft prior to the second ban phase. So they obviously put a lot of focus on him. Dahaka, very good solo laner on this map, very good at controlling the shrines. So I like that pickup from them.
Yep, absolutely fantastic pick on this map. Also, again, with his global presence, he can move between the two shrines at either end of the map. Just as well as, actually perhaps arguably even better, than a lot of other heroes with global presence.
Yeah, absolutely. So, just a couple of things. If you've recently joined us, we do have the entirety of the remainder of the playoffs going on today. So keep tuned in both to this stream and to the main Heroes Lounge stream. We will have games on both of those channels for the next couple of hours, and then later on this evening as we move on into the finals, the games will all be on the main channel. We also have a Zul'jin skin bundle giveaway going on, which you can buy tickets on Revlo over in the main channel. So jump over there if you want to get involved in that. And we also have, very importantly, an announcement from Heroes Lounge management, if you will, due to be occurring after the Grand Finals today. The Grand Finals due to start at 8 PM CET. And yeah, don't miss it, basically, is what I'm getting at here. Now, that out of the way, into the draft, we have seen Ragnaros and Falstad picked up by Gorge Good Alt. Ragnaros, obviously, still very powerful, something they prioritized in the last map as well. And Falstad, something that got banned on the last map, gives them a global option to provide ganks and whatever else, and mobility between the shrines. So very good there. We did see Gul'dan banned out by No Trick Ponies, which is interesting, since there are already 2 assassins picked up on Gorge Good Alt. But you know, fair enough if that's what they're concerned about. And the Rhaegar being banned out to reduce the support options for No Trick Ponies there. So 2 picks for No Trick Ponies. They might want to pick their support up here to give them more flexibility in their last pick, or they might hold on to their support pick in order to lock in higher priority characters. So they've taken the Kel'Thas, which obviously gives them a lot of wave clear, gives them a lot of power in the rotation, and the ETC with the crowd control is obviously very much the same. So that really empowers their ability to have a 4-man rotation going on. So that's very good for them. It will be interesting to see how well they can make that work, basically.
Yeah, they've left the healer till last pick.
Mm-hmm.
Perhaps they're looking for a specific counter pick based on the last 2 picks of Gorge Goodalt. What do you think?
Sure. I mean, I think if you're looking for a counter pick, you leave a more flexible slot open than the support. The only reason I think... Well, so I think there are 2 reasons why you'd pick not to pick up your support here. One is because you are wanting to make sure you get the heroes that you are picking. So, you know, they particularly wanted the ETC and the KT, didn't want either of those to get picked by the opponent. The other is if they want to pick a support and not give the opposing team an opportunity to counterpick it. So they could look for something like a Morales, because there's little dive, or the dive on the side of Gorge Goodalt isn't that strong. So something like that. But we shall see. It is a Valor and a Johanna, so Gorge Goodalt have opted for a pretty aggressive, quite sort of squishy team here, really.
Yes.
I'm a little bit concerned about that, but you know, it'll be interesting to see whether they can. I mean, ultimately, they are one of the top Div 1 teams, so I guess we can assume they will be able to coordinate well enough to pull off the more sort of aggressive style comps. And it is a Morales. Look at that! I love it. That's fantastic. So yeah, they were looking to hide that pick to make sure that there wasn't something picked up that was going to be very good at diving in on that Morales. So nice strategy by them.
Yeah. Also,
I can see chat chatting about what support they're going to pick. So they're in for a surprise, because I don't think anybody's going to guess Morales.
I certainly wouldn't have. But that said, now that I think about it, both the heroic options could very much have a place in this composition, because the Medivac can get your whole team from one shrine to another in a couple of seconds.
Very much.
Also, if she hits Tychus with a stim drone just before he activates his minigun, that will be a horrendous amount of hero damage coming out in a very short space of time.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so we are now into the game. On the left-hand side in blue, we do have Gorge Goodalt, a game down in this series. They have got Dragon M playing the Falstad, Erwin on the Johanna, Pandora Wolf on Ragnaros, Morpheus on the Johanna, Erwin is on the Valor, and Oliver playing Malfurion.
Yeah. And on the red team, we have Millie on Kel'Thas, Patsku on Lieutenant Morales, Silver Fox playing Tychus, Senric controlling ETC, and Jike playing Dahaka.
Okay, so here we go into the game. Both teams looking with a 5-man focus on the mid lane. Now, in my opinion, No Trick Ponies has the much better early game brawl here. Because Morales is insanely powerful in that early game. Very hard to deal with a team that's being supported by her. I don't think this is a good fight for Gorge Goodalt. I think they should be looking to just pick up their lanes and be safe. But they are sharking around. Morpheus taking quite a chunk of damage, and as we can see, the Morales has just kept everybody on No Trick Ponies at absolutely full health. So we've split into 2 4-man squads for the rotation. Now, the only weakness I would say with respect to Morales in this kind of scenario is she can be vulnerable if you can catch her out of position because she's rotating. In a map like Braxis, where there's no rotation, she can be incredibly safe. But on a map like this, when you've got a 4-man rotation squad, it is possible to catch that Morales out and really ruin her very, very quickly. But so far, No Trick Ponies have managed to avoid that happening.
See the hacker there forced to recall. I'm guessing he got a bit more than he bargained for out of the enemy team's Ragnaros. But...
Well, I mean, it is sort of a... I didn't see what health he was on, but it may well have been a tactical recall. Obviously, as the hacker, one of the things that empowers him so much as a solo laner is that ability to trade with his lane opponent, put them both on low HP, and then just back and teleport back into the lane, which is what we saw him do there. KT getting attacked, not going to be taken down here, but a lot of damage going down onto Millie and Senric. Patsku still more than capable of just keeping him safe there. The rotation down to the bottom lane from Gorge Goodall is again going to allow them to channel this bottom shrine. Meanwhile, however, Dahaka has been able to claim this top shrine. I missed that, I'm sorry guys. Valor was picked off in the rotation here. Must have got a little bit out of position and stunned out by the ETC. And obviously burst down. Again,
is able to capitalise on their temporary numbers advantage. They've got both shrines at the moment. I think they will struggle to actually capture the Dragon Knight.
They will struggle to capture the Dragon Knight, but what they might be able to do is force Gorge Goodall out of position to the point where they might be able to get a kill. Oh my goodness, they managed to lock in that Dragon Knight. Oliver was channeling the bottom shrine, but wasn't quite able to finish the channel, and then they follow that up with a pick on the Johanna, who got, as I said, got out of position trying to prevent that Dragon Knight being captured. So everything kind of going wrong at once for Gorge Goodall. It's not disastrous by any means, but losing their tank and conceding the Dragon Knight simultaneously means that the Dragon Knight is going to have the potential to get some damage done here. However, obviously tanking those tower shots and the damage from the heroes coming out, gonna whittle that dragon down pretty quickly. It's only 3.5 minutes into the game, so Dragon's not the monster that it becomes in the late game by any means at this stage.
That's a Dragon Knight done with.
It is,
it'll be a couple of minutes before.
It's about half a level advantage for No Trick Ponies. So they did manage to capitalise on the dragon, get a bit of an advantage from it, and they have got their level 7 talents locked in already. Looking at the talents for a moment, KT going for a very standard Flame Strike build, Morales going for Scouting Drone into Automated Block with Cleanse on 7, so a very defensive support obviously set up there. Standard build from Tychus with Bigger They Are to obviously melt down that solo tank as quickly as possible. ETC again also going for a very standard option. Falstad managing to come up top and get the pick off on the Dahaka there, so that will be a kill in the solo lane. Forces KT to come up in order to not lose any soak. But that does put No Trick Ponies on the back foot just for a moment. They're just going to have to stay back at their towers and soak the lanes. Meanwhile, the hard camp is picked up by Gorge Goodall, so getting good use out of their temporary advantage on the map there.
Yeah, see, they picked up their siege giants to the bottom lane as well, who are currently going to work on those towers. Shrines activate in a little over 20 seconds. Think No Trick Ponies will be able to clear out that top camp before?
Oh, KT getting picked off, and that's a big deal. He's stacking perfection, had not yet managed to finish his stacks. Obviously pretty early in the game for him to have been able to do that, and does get picked off, so that will reset his stacks. Those stacks obviously give a very significant damage spike once completed, but unfortunately it's effectively like he doesn't have a level 1 talent at this point in the game, so he's going to need to look to stack that up back as quickly as possible. Now, because of that, Gorge Goodall were able to hit 10s at the same time as No Trick Ponies, which means that both of our teams are fully powered up now. We do see The shrine at top has been captured by Dahaka, but Ragnaros is looking to reclaim it here. Falstad once again coming in to try and gank the Dahaka, but not going to be able to do that at this stage. Now, in terms of... oh, bit of a scrap going on down in bot, but Morales still going to be just fine at keeping Tychus alive. Malfurion now out of position. ETC's crowd control doing a good job of keeping him slowed, and meanwhile the Dahaka was able to burrow in and pick off the Valor there, while Malf was split off and running for his life. So we do see what I was saying. You know, we've got a couple of pretty fragile characters in terms of Valor and the Falstad there, and only a Malfurion to support them, and only a Johanna to peel for them. So if the Valor or the Falstad gets isolated, there's a lot of potential for the beefier team from No Trick Ponies to be able to pick them off. However, we do see Gorge Godol making good use of the Falstad once again, flying in on Dahaka, who was out of position, and getting the pick off there in a 3v1 that was expected not to be as unfavoured by the Dahaka. So engaged the fight, and then Falstad shows up and trouble.
So Ponies, sorry, carry on.
No, go.
I was about to say that No Trick Ponies managed to claim that top shrine by forcing the Ragnaros out of lane. He was trading into the ETC on the shrine. Then Tychus and Morales joined the fray, and he noped out of there in pretty short order.
Absolutely, and so we don't see either team in a position to actually pick up a Dragon Knight at the moment. However, Gorge Godol are dominating this bottom side of the map. They're taking their opponent's siege camp, having eliminated this fort in the bottom lane, and actually managed to accrue a slight but not completely insignificant XP advantage for themselves. They may be able to hit 13 before their opponents, and that might even give them a window to pick up this Dragon Knight here. So they are 13, the enemy team is not, and they've managed to channel both the shrines. Rag managing to hold off the Dahaka in the top lane. ETC stage dives into the middle of Gorge Godol, and Falstad going to take a lot of damage from the Tychus there. Not going to actually fall, but is forced back, and what that means is Gorge Godol are not going to be able to capture the Dragon Knight at this stage. Level 13s have now been secured by No Trick Ponies, and therefore we will sort of stabilise effectively the game once again. So in terms of talents, we have seen the Medevac rather than Stimdrone coming from the Morales. I like that a little bit more. It's a lot of safety for her. Obviously Stimdrone on Odin is very, very powerful, but ultimately I feel like as medic, if you stay alive, you're going to have a lot of impact anyway. And Medevac dropship gives you that potential to survive even getting dived on and surrounded. So I like that plan. We do have the stage dive, giving a second global, well, third with Medevac, of course, because that is also a potential global. So 3 potential globals on the side of No Trick Ponies. Very standard ults all round coming from Gorge Godol. Now they are looking for a heavy dive on the Dahaka here. All 5 members in top lane. They do use both Blessed Shield and Sulphurous Smash to confirm that kill on the Dahaka. ETC stage diving in, but not going to get very much with that. However, the Phoenix will force Gorge Godol to retreat. They can't really afford to keep taking the damage from that. And Odin as well, putting a lot of damage onto the enemy team. Very good use of the shield by Ironskin, by Johanna, to get her out of that problem, and also the speed boost from the Rag, helping her escape that that situation. So No Trick Ponies locking in both the shrines, but Gorge Godol have taken strong control of the mid lane, so that's not going to be a Dragon Knight for them at this stage. Falstad flies bottom, and Gorge Godol are going to be able to control this mid lane point until he's managed to channel that shrine in. Now, do just want to point out at this stage, from the Falstad we've seen a full AA focused build. So a much more sustained damage build than the Mage Stad that we commonly see. He has gone Boomerang, obviously gives you more wave clear and AoE damage, so that's usually a correct pick, even in an AA focused build. But his Seasoned Marksman is very nearly finished, and that's going to be a nice damage spike for him. But it also means that the longer this game goes on, the more and more powerful we can expect him to become.
He's also picked up Mighty Gust at level 10, which I don't believe we've seen yet in this game. But it's
hasn't yet been used. No, I think it was used defensively once.
Okay.
But yeah, he's certainly not done anything flashy with the Gust. But then that's not always the right thing to be doing with it anyway. Far too often people will try and do the flashy thing and end up making a blunder and costing themselves rather than getting a benefit out of it. We do also see a more sort of sustained damage build, multi-shot, so AoE focus from the Valor. Not going for any of the sort of more tricksy builds, some of the Death Dealer builds that we see these days with resetting the Vault and so on. Just going to go with the wave clear focused multi-shot build. Both teams sort of sharking around the map. Both teams now got their level 16s locked in. So we are seeing a very even playing field. However, structural advantage definitely on the side of Gorge Good Ult. If they can manage to cap a Dragon Knight, they are in a position to be able to put damage put pressure quite directly onto the enemy keeps. Whereas obviously on the side of No Trick Ponies, they need to capture, or they need to take out the forts first. Now, Falstad doing a very telegraphed fly directly over the top of No Trick Ponies to go and channel that top shrine in. But that obviously forces the team of Gorge Good Ult to pull back, because No Trick Ponies knew that they were a man down and postured quite aggressively. It means the hacker can go down and channel the bottom shrine, so it is effectively a wash there for both teams. Now, we do see, looks like an attempt to catch out the ETC in the top lane here.
Sliding around those roots like an absolute boss.
That power slide, indeed, very good there. Sulfurous Smash used and missed, but Molten Core is going to come in. No Trick Ponies do not want this fight under the Molten Core of the Ragnaros. Gust, again, used defensively. Stage Dive coming in, and they are just diving hard onto the Rag, and they're taking a lot of damage, but nobody falls just yet. Twilight Dream comes in, silencing the Tychus, and that will be enough to pick him off. So that is a 1-for-0 so far. Gorge Good Ult pretty low on HP, but are able to just pull back, and that gives them about 40 seconds where they've got a advantage on the map, being a man up. I think we're going to see Falstad. Yeah, here he goes. He's flying to the bottom shrine. He's going to cap that shrine, and I think that should be an easy Dragon Knight over for Gorge Good Ult. I don't think we're going to be able to see No Trick Ponies either capture either of the shrines or muster an interrupt for the dragon. So we do see Gorge Good Ult being relatively cautious with the Dragon Knight. They're going first for the fort. They're not trying to go straight for the bottom keep, which I maybe would have preferred slightly. The Tychus is now back up, so he's going to be able to put a lot of damage onto the Dragon Knight. They will certainly get the wall here, but I don't think they'll be in a position to capture a keep with this.
Doesn't look like they're getting any keep damage at all.
No, indeed. They are being forced back on the side of Gorge Good Ult. I guess I can understand it. They don't want to engage. They're a full level ahead, and they don't actually want to fight when they're a talent down. Hacker burrowing in on the flank, looking for a pick, but the Iron Skin will deny the drag from Hacker there, and will allow the team to pull back safely. Falstad, using his global mobility, getting the fly up to the top where the mercenary pressure was, going to be able to protect this fort, I think. Yeah, just about
Yeah,
going to save the
just.
fort. However, at the same time, we do see No Trick Ponies picking up their opponent's siege camp in the bot lane. Gorge Goodalt going to react nice and quickly to this. Not going to get any value from that. No Trick Ponies with a 5-man aggression against this bottom fort, which against the 4-man defense seems pretty reasonable, but it is allowing Falstad to get split push value. His fly up is up in about 5 seconds now, and No Trick Ponies, possibly recognising that, are pulling back. Now, the other thing here is we do have level 20s locked in for Gorge Goodalt here. They are going to be looking to get aggressive, and at very least to get a keep, if not to try and take a team fight and get some kills.
See the Bruiser camp push in the top lane's just been cleared out by No Trick Ponies, which did actually give Gorge Goodalt enough time and vision to capture the Bruiser camp at the very bottom of the map.
Absolutely. Not necessarily the kind of dramatic impact I'm looking to see from them while they've got their level 20s, but they are looking to push in on this bottom keep, and currently No Trick Ponies are on the top half of the map, so that might well be just the thing. We do see Morales has backed, so we will see the full defense from the No Trick Ponies with the stage dive available. Now, Gorge Goodalt just not pushing in with their level 20 talent advantage. Not so sure about that. Something else just want to point out, we do see from Falstad at level 20, he's gone with the epic mount over the Nexus Frenzy, which synergizes oh so well with Giant Killer, with Seasoned Marksman, with Hammer Games, and with all the other talents he's taken. Epic mount obviously very powerful and very good on this map where rotating can secure objectives. Dahaka coming in, ETC forced to burn his Bolt of the Storm because he was running solo and did not want to die, but does get out. Vala taking a lot of poke damage from the Tychus, and KT also getting some damage in. Now, I do just want to point out, we still have not seen Convection fully stacked from the KT. He's getting some benefit from it, because obviously you get damage when it's partially stacked, but not locked in that damage bonus boost that you get at the 20 stacks. Drag on the Johanna, but not going to be enough to actually do the job there. Phoenix thrown down, mostly just zoning. That's a fly into a gust, and a massive Sulfurous smash. It's going to just delete both the KT and the Morales. That, that might just be game. We do see 2 kills, and the bottom keep is on about 1/3 HP. If Gorge Goodalt just go aggressively, I mean, they can pick up an additional kill here on the Tychus. If they just go aggressively bottom lane, I think they could just end the game. They are going to opt for picking up the Dragon Knight. Now, I can understand that, but equally they are up against 2 globals. Now the globals may be able to get some delays on the Dragon Knight, and that would potentially buy enough time for the rest of the team to come alive. Doesn't look like that is going to happen. The Dragon Knight is locked in. We've got 15 seconds before KT and Morales come back up, and this bottom keep is now on about 1/5 health, with Falstad and Vala having been poking at it. That is going to go down in no time at all. However, it is now a 4-man defense alive from No Trick Ponies. It's going to be tough for them. Oh, the fly into the gust once again is going to just delete the KT. Morales uses the medevac to stay alive, and Falstad is taking a lot of damage. He may fall. And Vala also taking a lot of damage, but the Molten Core there is going to pick the hacker off and allow the Vala to stay alive. Falstad also surviving, and that's 2 men dead. It's Molten Core and a Dragon Knight going in against the Core at 21 minutes. That is going to be Game 2, going over to Gorge Goodalt, tying the series up 1-1, and that's the best news I could have hoped for, because it means we get a Game 3. So